just waiting for more people to just join us. Right. Firstly, apologies for being late onto our live. Technology is really giving us a bit of a challenge, but nonetheless, we are good and ready when you guys are. Okay, just waiting for more and more people to join in. All right, I see we've got quite a number of people that are on. Okay, and we are about to go live. Well, here goes nothing. Right, let's go. Good day, everybody, and well, good evening, actually. So I'm so used to saying good day that it's just a default thing to always say. Well, welcome everybody to this YouTube live. Technology has really been showing us some flames, and we do apologize for joining in a little bit late. Even my screen is doing some funny things over here where I've got my questions, but nonetheless I will start by just restarting just to make sure that we are okay. Right, guys, you've sent through your many questions, and I'm excited to say that I'm gonna try and walk you guys through the many questions that we've got. All right, so I'm just taking in my device. I've got my wonderful team that is also helping me to put all of this together. Right, so I've got the many questions that you guys sent in so far as exam preparation are concerned, and I am going to try and walk you guys through every single one of these just to make sure that I can help you as much as I possibly can in terms of preparing for the final exams. Now, let's talk about just a few things in terms of exams. Exams are coming up in about 14 days. You'll be sitting for your first matric final exams. And in actual fact, I think it might be even 13 days, right? But of course, you know that exams will be starting very soon. Now, let's talk about just some of the challenges that you guys will actually be experiencing. Of course, I do anticipate that you've got a lot of nerves. Guys, as I did say, I remember when I had to sit for my final exams, and I was as nervous can be. There's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely normal. Now, I want to try and answer as many of your questions as possible. So I'm just going to go to my screen and look at just the questions that you have sent. Please, you're welcome to chat. You can take me through, you can ask questions whilst I'm busy, and any other issues we will try and address with time. I'm busy trying to log on to the live as well onto my screen here, but for some reason I'm not able to do that. It's okay. We will do that at a later stage. So please, I hope that you don't mind. I will keep juggling all the balls as much as I possibly can. Now let's go into the very first question that we received. And we received quite several questions. The first question says, how can I possibly get a distinction in physical science in finals, whereas I haven't been doing so well throughout the year? Now guys, I did say to you, please do not undermine your capacity to learn, right? So I know that we are just a few days into the exam, and the one thing that you guys must always be mindful of is that, remember, going into the final exam, you've gone through so many things that may have distracted your focus throughout the year. You know, you had assignments to submit, you had portfolios to do, you had so many things that were, grappling for your attention. But right now, within the next 13 days or so, you really now want to focus and set yourself a real timetable that you are going to follow, that you are going to set, and you're going to follow that timetable meticulously. Now, here's what I'm asking you guys to do. As I said, do not undermine your capacity to learn. So which means, if there are still sections of content that you still have not mastered, you still have the next days to try and master that. Now, the person who's asking about physics, physical science, fortunately, we are going to publish the dates where I'll be taking you through workshops. It's a 2-day workshop where I'll be zeroing in on the sections in physical science that you can master. Now, in the meantime, what do? Use my videos, use any other material that you can actually get, into that you can use in order for you to get into, to try and master that physical science. So please try and use those videos as much as possible. But as I did say to you, that it's very important that at the end of the day, you try by all means to get to that workshop that I'm going to do. I'm not going to call it a camp this time around because in essence, it's going to be online. It's also going to be in person at the center. But I think for many of you, you are watching this online. So please do not undermine your capacity to learn. You really can learn anything, even at this time. No matter how late you may think that it is, you still can get quite great results when it comes to that maths and science. Now, the next question that I'm getting is, I am upgrading. I have done metric in 2018. Does my CAS mark still exist? Well, for those of you that are upgrading, now, I always say this: please do not worry yourself about things that you don't have control over. Whether CAS mark applies or not, it's immaterial. Right now, what you want to focus is on the things that you can actually master. Now, I'm going to come back and answer the question nonetheless. But what you do want to do is to ensure that even as you study, you don't distract yourself about things that you can't control, things that you don't have control over. So what you do want to do is make sure that you allocate yourself, set yourself a target. So for instance, if you say, I want to ensure that for this exam, I am going to get more than 80%. I'm just making that as an example, right? So that means, CAS mark or not, I am going to actually focus on the things that I can actually control, things that are within my control. So does the CAS mark actually apply? Well, yes, it does. But as I did say to you, you don't want to focus on that at the moment. You really want to ensure that you can focus on maximizing what happens in that exam. All right. Now, the next question says, I forget easily. All right. What can I do to recall everything I have learned? Guys, right. Now, my problem with that question is that you've already kind of labeled yourself, right? You've kind of taken in a condition that may not be entirely true for everything. Now, if I were to ask the person who sent this, do you know your name? If you do, then, well, the question is, do you really forget easily? All right, do you know where you live? And the question is yes, right? So the question is, do you really forget easily? Or is it particular things that you tend to forget? And remember, to master anything, repetition leads to mastery. So which means the more you expose yourself to any particular knowledge, right, to anything that, if you do it repetitively long enough, then that's where you can get to that mastery level. So please make sure that you do study, you repeat, you do as many exercises as possible, and find a rhythm that you can actually have in order for you to get to that point where you remember certain things, right? But remember, maths and science, yes, as much as remembrance is, a skill, but you remember that in maths and science, it's not really a skill that you really require. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that question. Now, the next question says, how can I possibly get a distinction on mathematics if I have a level 4 on my trial exam? Now, guys, I'm going to break this into two ways of, I'm going to answer this in two ways. So firstly, you need to be practical about what is possible. Now, if you've been getting level 4, can you still improve? Absolutely. I absolutely believe that you can improve. But if in your trials you got a level 4, it does indicate to me that, you do have the ability to improve, but whether you can get a distinction, I think that's, the jury's still out on that one. Guys, and I want you to understand, to really get to mastery, it's not magic. I cannot give you a magic wand. I cannot give you tips that are highly impossible. Whatever goal that we set for ourselves right now, let's focus on improving from where I am and to get to the next level. Can you move from level 4 to level 5? Absolutely, I believe that is possible, right? But to move 3 levels up may not be practical at this stage unless you are going to solely focus on that subject, 16 hours a day without necessarily focusing on any other subject. So I really don't want to set ourselves goals that we know are impossible to achieve. So I would say to you, perhaps focus on improving, but not necessarily on getting a distinction. Right, now let's go to the next question. The next question says, how can I possibly get a distinction in mathematics if I've had a level 4 on my trial exam? I think I've already answered this, so I'll move on to the next question. Sir, can you please show us how to answer more multiple choice questions? Guys, what I've done is to curate, question papers, and I actually take you through multiple choice sections in physical science. Please go and watch those. Some of them are the long question papers, the entire question paper, but some of them have actually broken down into different sections. So perhaps what I may do is I will create a playlist that has only multiple choice questions that is in paper 1 as well as in paper 2. I'm assuming that the person who was asking here is actually asking on behalf of physical science. Now, may you please go over tips and tricks for chemistry, right? Now, here's what I'm going to advise you on chemistry. Right, some of you actually skip stoichiometry. Now, stoichiometry is the part of chemistry where we are looking at, calculating number of moles, where we are looking at ratio, the balancing of formulae and all of that. Every single section in chemistry does have, to some extent, stoichiometry involved in it. So if I were to advise you, please make it a point that you can understand stoichiometry. But here's another thing. Chemistry involves a lot of theory as well. So I would say to you, please make sure that you can, master that theory as well. So just ensure that you do stoichiometry, right? And what happens most of the time is that some of you, for instance, if you look at an area like acids and bases, some of you tend to focus on only those 8-mark questions. Now, guys, you'd be setting yourself up for failure, right, if you did that. Because remember, acids and bases, for instance, as an entire section, is usually out of 20 to 22 marks. So that means that, right, out of that 8 marks that you are taking away, right, 14 marks are actually on every other part of acids and bases, including the theory, including the level 3 questions that are just solely on application, and even level 1 and 2 questions that are just solely on remembrance theory, just knowing what the acid base, the Lowry-Bronsted definition, just remembering what is just the normal calculations on titration and all of that. So you definitely need to make sure that you master the theoretical section on chemistry as well as the theoretical, the practical questions. All right, now there's a lot happening here. So thank you to Uzimasa. Welcome to the support group. I see that you've joined in as a member onto our YouTube channel. All right, now let's go to the next part. So this is quite long. I have a study timetable on my own. I have siblings at home. I don't usually study or do my homework after school. So I wake up at 3 from Monday to Friday. My question is it okay to study 3 subjects in the morning, or should I do 2? I'm in grade 10, by the way. Right, so this is applicable for anyone. Guys, the thing about studying is to finding your own rhythm. Find what works for you. Just to tell you a little bit of a story, I'm a malume, so I have a lot of stories that I can share with you guys. So back in the days when I was studying, I grew up in a not so privileged background. So there were lots of us at home, my siblings and everyone else, and I didn't have a space to study. But what I did is that I then became creative about it. So what I did, just like you, right, I started waking up in the early hours of the morning. Why? Because everyone was asleep at that time, right? And I used that time. But the thing about it is to find a rhythm that works for you. So you can choose for yourself. What do you want in life, right? So what you want in life can either lead you to actually overcoming the challenges and the barriers that you've got, and actually get to that point where you overcome excuses. Guys, our biggest hindrance to making it in life is overcoming excuses. Excuses you can tell us about this or that. Every single person can make an excuse. I can talk about how not so privileged I am. I can talk about, I don't have this or that or the other. But for me, the most important thing, find a way to overcome excuses and make sure that you can actually push yourself into what you actually want to achieve in life. That's my advice. All right, find a rhythm that works. The next question says, grade 12 probability and financial mathematics. I'm actually going to publish a video on Friday on mastering paper 1. Guys, please make it a point that you can watch that video, all right? Because what I do is I run you through what's going to happen in paper 1, what to anticipate, how to allocate your time, the mark allocations thereof. Please watch that video. And I do have a summary of probability, which is a really great summary, if I have to say so myself, right? But I'm not ashamed to say that, because the feedback that I get from that video is really remarkable, and the people that have watched it have really remarked on how they have improved on that section. So please do make it a point that you do watch it. Please, on Friday, I am dropping that video. You will see it. Right, and the next one says, Physical Science Paper 1, Work, Energy and Power. It's giving problems. Okay, I'm assuming you have not watched my playlist on work, energy and power. Guys, come on. Honestly speaking, and not that I'm singing my own or I'm dancing to my own tune, But guys, I tell you, every single person that has watched Work, Energy and Power, and in fact, if I remember very correctly, that's the one video that really made me popular on YouTube, because I take you through that section and I ensure that I break it down all the way and you can be able to have confidence in that section. So please go and watch that playlist on Work, Energy and Power, and I promise you, you'll come back on Friday telling me, hey Malume, I'm all sorted. Okay, so let's go for that one. Right, the next one says, hey uncle, if I may ask, is it possible to write your final exams from another school due to you will be being after the revision of that certain school? Okay, I'm not really sure what this is saying. The exam number will be of your school. Now guys, I'm not really sure if I understand this fully. I think they were asking if you can write at another school. Guys, you can only write at the school where you are registered, right? Whatever the circumstances are, if you are registered at a particular center, now I'm assuming this is for the group that is upgrading, where you have been registered or allocated to write exams. If you don't show up there, it doesn't matter where you go, they will not allow you to write. So please ensure that you can do that. Okay, right, let's go to the next one. Can I have a grade 11 mathematics November paper 1, paper 2 revision? All right, we will definitely, we are dropping those videos. If you've noticed, in the past, actually yesterday, we've been dropping those videos on mathematics, that is revision for grade 11. We will be doing so also for physical science. So if I were you, I wouldn't move from this channel. Great things are coming. Okay, right, so next one, what would be the best way to prepare for your exam in a short period? I did say time trials, okay? Doing as many question papers as possible. But guys, also being realistic that if there are sections that you have not really mastered, it would not be very productive if you just went and looked at past exam questions, right? So you might want to look at that section, go through a video maybe that explains a particular section, and then you can actually look at past exam question papers. All right, it sounds like we've been going through quite a lot, hey? But let's look at the next question. What would be, the next one says, physics is giving me problems, so what can I do to get level 5? Malume's videos, right? If you want to, as I did say, just the weekend, or rather the week before you write exams, we've got a workshop that we are preparing for, right? We will make information available for that workshop, okay? I don't have the dates right now in front of me, but perhaps I will ask if you can be able to make those dates available for me. Then I can announce that at the end. Guys, you want to watch those videos, you want to do many question papers, and try and practice as much as possible. Do as many time trials as possible so that you can be able to get to that mastery level, right? Now, chemistry is better, physics is the problem. This is how this person has written it. Okay, physics is the problem. Please do show some tricks, okay? All right, so in this case, guys, there's no tricks that I can show you. Straightforward, we are simply going to practice, 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 and some more practice. So what I am asking you to do, use the videos that are available to you guys, okay? On the sections that you need questions on, you can compile those, and you can attend that workshop where I will be for 2 days just taking you through. We'll have a workshop only for paper 1, and we'll be going through meticulously one question after the other, just showing you tricks and tips, but do use those videos quite extensively. Okay, Right, and then on the next one, please do electrodynamics, sir. Well, I am excited to tell you that already that video exists, right? If you're doing DBE, right, and you're doing electrodynamics, that video exists. I am still going to compile one for those of you that are doing IEB, because there are some specialized sections on electrodynamics on IEB that I have not covered, but that's coming up. Don't worry, Uncle's got you, né? All right. Now, the next one says, do you set exam papers? If you don't, do you moderate them? Because I heard that this year's finals are going to be harder compared to last year's. Guys, please don't listen to old wives' tales, okay? The standard of the exam is exactly the same. It doesn't matter who sets them. It doesn't matter whether I moderate them or not. It doesn't matter because if I told you, then you'd ask me to tell you, right? So I'm not going to say anything to that effect. But what I do ask you to do, look at the previous standard of the exam, look at your prelims, look at your June exams, look at last year's exam. That should tell you there is a specific pattern. And guys, there's no way that any examiner would go a whole 180 degrees the other direction in trying to compile a question paper. So do rest assured that the standard of the exam will exactly be the same. Will it be the same questions? Absolutely not. But there could be some questions that are repeated. So my advice for you is please ensure that you you reference from your past exam question papers, and that will sort you out. Okay, let's go to the next one. We are almost done with the questions here, right? So the next question says, sir, before we start with finals, can you please explain how Deng Prelim Paper 1 Physics? All right, I'll try my absolute best. In actual fact, we will be dropping that perhaps in the next week to come. We will be dropping that. However, we still need to drop the Limpopo. In fact, we did the Free State Paper 1 exam for mathematics. So I will consider that for Gauteng. We definitely will be dropping that very soon. Okay, right. Now, the next question says, what's your advice for being prepared for finals? Well, I've been giving that advice, so I think we can go right past that question. Right, so someone says, I'm from Limpopo and the prelim showed me flames. Hey, that prelim, ne? Hey, we can write a book about it. Okay, so they say, I'm scared that the final is going to be the same way. Any advice? Right, now guys, once prelims are set in such a way as to try and push the limits, right? Remember that finals tend to be just a little bit better than prelims. Why? Because we want to ensure that during prelims, you prepare as extensively as possible so that you can find the finals a little bit more palatable, a little bit more easier. So I wouldn't be scared if I were you. However, I did drop a video taking you through that Limpopo exam. Go and look at it and you'll see that, well, whilst it was difficult, it was not entirely impossible. I've broken the videos down into a playlist and I can walk you through that playlist. Okay, so please have a look at that. Now, the next one says, how can I improve my teaching skills in physical science? Well, that's very interesting. I love the fact that there are educators that are following our channel, and thank you to those educators that have been really giving us feedback. Right, and to any educator, I would say to you, please just try to check how I present. By the way, our styles may not be the same, but you can refer. The content is the same, so you can reference from the videos. But of course, if you do need any assistance, you can write to us. info@mlungisinkosi.co.za. You're more than welcome to get in touch with us. Right, now someone says on the next one, I've been getting 15% in terms 1, 2, and 3 for mathematics. what advice do you have for me? Well, look, the reality is that I'm not sure what have been the conditions around which you've been able to obtain those results, but I do want to say, don't give up on yourself, right? Things may not have worked out in term 1, term 2, and term 3, but please don't give up on yourself, right? Can you still improve? Absolutely. Can you now jump from, that level 1 all the way till level 5? Perhaps not, but perhaps we can have a strategy, and that's why I said to you, please look out on the videos that I'm going to publish, advising you and walking you through how you can best prepare for maths as well as physical science. You can improve. Please don't doubt that. I always say, please do not undermine your capacity to learn. Anything can be learned. The fact that it's a human being who made that content means that any human being can be able to understand that content. So please don't give up. Okay, right. The next one says, sir, would you say that the final exams for someone who's rewriting are much more complicated? Remember, for those of you that are rewriting or upgrading, please remember that you are writing exactly the same exam as the matriculants. So you're not going to be writing on 2 different days, you're writing on the same day and you're writing the same exam. So they are not more complicated, it's still the same content, you just will be writing it for the second time, or well, whatever amount of time that you've rewritten. What I do want to advise you is, please don't be complacent about it. There's a tendency for people, when you are repeating something, you are not as meticulous and not as diligent when it comes to your study. So just make sure that you do allocate enough time for you to study, okay? Make sure that you study as hard as you possibly can. Right, and now the next one says, sir, can you please show us how to answer more multiple choice questions? Well, I've gone through this one, so please refer to my earlier answer. If it is that you've just joined us, please just look at this video. We are going to save this live, so just please refer to that. Okay, right, so let's look at the next one. So they say, sir, can you please, or hi sir, which grade are you doing? I'm assuming that you are asking which grades do I teach? Well, I teach from grades 8 to 12, right? But in future, we will be publishing more videos for varsity content, and even for those of you that are doing other types of mathematics, like your APS mathematics and science, as well as technical maths and technical science. So those are the grades that I'm doing, right? And then finally, they say, hey uncle, if I may ask, is it possible to write your final exam from another school due to you being after the revision of a certain school? Okay, I think it's just a rectification of the earlier question. Now guys, as I did say, you may not go to any other center, go and write your exam. You can only write where you have been allocated, or in this case, where you are registered to write exams. So very important for you to go where you are registered. If there's more questions about it, perhaps you can ask me just follow-up questions on that. Now, I'm gonna go through some of the questions that I see from some of our audience that are here on YouTube. Hey, Nangamso, I can see you. She says, can you list study methods? Right, now, I'm not gonna do it here because I really have a good video that I'm going to publish on that. So look out for that video. All I can say is, guys, we've recorded it. It's good, it's beautiful. It's gonna take you through a run through of how to prepare, right? Just look out for that. All right, now, Tadejo says, I'm lacking motivation. please motivate me. I'm doing grade 10. Tateho, I think you do want to look at what it is that is causing the lack of motivation. Sometimes it can be the words from people. Sometimes it can be that you have not been performing as best or as well as you wanted to initially. It could be a multiplicity of things, right? But please, I want you to know this. One, never undermine your capacity to learn. But secondly, I want you to know that, remember, someone once said, whether you believe you can or you cannot, you are right. What does that mean? It means that self-belief will ultimately lead to either your success or your failure. What is it that you say about yourself? Number 3, the environment that you put yourself around. Is it an environment that is conducive for you to be able to do well? Now, if you've got friends that are consistently negative about mathematics, that consistently will say to you, yes, try maths, or people who will consistently say, no, maths is impossible, or science is, no, and really, I want you to be practical around yourself, right? About yourself, to yourself. If you put yourself in an environment that consistently encourages you, encourages you, you probably will, over time, take that encouragement, feed off it, and do better. But if you're in a negative environment, sugalap. Remember my video, ne? Sugalap. All right. Remove yourself, okay? Find motivation, okay? First, they always say, what is your why? What is that thing, that goal that you want to achieve? And I believe if you can focus on that goal, anything is possible. Put yourself on a path of growth. Put yourself on a path where you are able to do better, all right? Get people who are going to speak positively to you, but also, guys, do as much as you possibly can. Sometimes the lack of motivation, I always look at it as a, what do they call it? The chicken and the egg story. You don't know which one comes first. Whether you get motivation from, from doing well, or you do well because of motivation. So I always look at it this way, that start where you are, right? Start with what you have. Try to do the little that you can with the little that you have. And the longer you do it, the more consistent you become. The more you get better at it, the better you get at it, the more the more that you keep improving. So I want to say to you, please put yourself on a path where you can actually develop. Let's look at the next one. How can we get 7 distinctions? That's Nangam. So I give for that subject, you can apply them, right? So please just look at those videos and you are going to be good. All right, so Ntlaiso, Alex said about technical maths paper 1, right? We did say that we are going to publish videos on technical maths. I will do so as soon as possible. Hey, here's Junior. Hi, Mr. Junior. All right, he says, how to master physics, sir? Right, as I did say, we are going to publish those videos on that, but nonetheless, guys, please try, there's no trick, there's no magic wand. We need to just make sure that we do the best that we can. Now, I don't want to make this video long-winded, right? And some of the questions are repetitive. I've tried to give the best of advice that I can, but guys, I want to say as I close, I won't be able to go through all the questions that you have for me. Perhaps we can schedule another live where I can look at all the questions that we've got. Right, you might have reached a point where you've got burnout right now, right? And guys, rest is as much important as working is, right? So what you want to do is that you want to plan not only for your time to study, but you also want to schedule time to rest. Guys, it is important that you take care of your mental health, right? Some of us do struggle quite a bit, some more than others with mental health. And I don't want you guys to really get to a point where you beat yourself up if you have not been doing well. And I do want to say, if you find that consistently you are struggling with depression, perhaps you might also want to get some help, okay? So please make it a point that you either talk to someone, talk to a parent, talk to someone, talk to us, and even talk to, your educators. If it is that this is something that is persistent to you, please, guys, I don't want you to condemn yourself. I don't want you to get to that point where you are, struggling and you believe that you are on your own, right? There's help out there. There are institutions that can assist you. And if it is that you don't have anyone that can assist, please do write through to us and we can see how best we can assist you with that. Guys, I know that there's all the kind of questions that I can answer. Please protect your mental health. Please study hard, right? We don't want you to get to a point where, you look at yourself as a failure, right? There's something that I always love this quotation, right? It simply says, success is not final, right? And it says, failure is not fatal, but it is the courage to continue that counts. Do you have the courage to continue? Whether things have been going well, or maybe things have not been going well, but do you have the courage to continue? Let's say things don't go well this year. Will you have the courage to pick yourself up and still believe that you can do this once again? It's the courage to continue that really counts. I know of people that have really done well on the backdrop of having failed before. And so if you find yourself, not having done well, or perhaps having failed, let's put it, as bluntly as we can. That's not your final destination. It's just a step. And sometimes it might be the step that will lead to your success. Guys, thank you. And I say thank you for listening in. I hope that the little advice that I've given will be helpful to you. Guys, we love you. We don't want to lose you because you believe that you're a failure. We want to make sure that you guys can really become tomorrow's leaders and you can change the world. I believe in you. I personally believe in you. Trust me, I believe in you. And if it is that you're struggling, please do shout out to us and we can see with all the means necessary if we can assist. I wish you all of God's best for your exams. We love you. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for those of you that are new to the channel, and please invite as many people as you possibly can. Otherwise, from me for now, I'll see you guys again next time. Malume loves you. Sharp, sharp.